movie opens in an old pub in Berlin, featuring a strange hole in the basement wall and is owned by an old man named Owen. One night, a man named Neil arrives, begging to see the woman in the basement and offers 2,000 euros, but Owen strictly refuses, warning him that he will only find pain behind that door. He tells Neil never to return. After Neil leaves, Owen records a video message for the pub's next owner. He explains that a dangerous entity called Baghead lives in the basement. Whoever signs the property paper becomes her guardian and must keep her locked inside to protect the world. He also warns that the owner can never leave the pub. If they do, they'll fall ill and die. Hoping to end the curse forever, Owen goes down to the basement where Baghead is tied to a chair and tries to burn the building down. However, the plan fails. Owen ends up burning to death while Baghead survives untouched. Then the scene shifts to London, introducing a girl named Iris and her best friend, Katie. Iris is broke and nowhere else to go after being evicted for not paying rent. Out of nowhere, she gets a call from a lawyer informing her that her father has died and asking her to come to Berlin immediately. The next day, Iris flies to Berlin and is horrified to see her estranged father's burnt body. It turns out she is Owen's daughter. The lawyer reveals that her dad owned an old pub and that she has inherited the entire property. Iris gets a tour of the place from the lawyer. He points out that the building needs major repairs and suggests selling it. However, Iris refuses to rush into a decision and asks for time to think. Having nowhere else to go, she decides to stay the night in the pub. That evening, Iris calls Katie and reveals that her father abandoned her years ago, so she isn't sad about his death. Katie insists Iris shouldn't be alone and promises to fly to Berlin soon. Around midnight, Iris is startled awake by an alarm clock noise coming from the basement. She follows the sound to the basement door, which is covered in written spells. Unable to enter without the keys, she suddenly senses an intruder in the pub. She investigates and finds Neil, who frightens her but clarifies he isn't there to hurt her. He explains that he needs to see his late wife through the woman in her basement. Though Iris is confused and says no one is down there, Neil offers her 4,000 euros and promises even more money if she lets him in. Struggling financially, Iris accepts the cash, admits she doesn't have the basement keys yet, and tells Neil to return tomorrow. The next morning, Iris meets with the lawyer and tells him she wants to keep and live in her dad's old place rather than selling it. Disappointed but unresistant, the lawyer hands her an old-looking ownership paper, which she signs to officially become the owner. He also gives her the keys and a tape containing Owen's recorded instructions for the new owner. That evening, Katie arrives at the pub. Iris tells her about Neil, the 4,000 euros he gave her, and his claim that someone lives in the basement. A shocked Katie warns that if true, staying here could be dangerous. However, Iris insists they can make a fortune, betting that plenty of people used to pay her dad just to go down there for a good scare. A while later, Neil arrives and leads Iris and Katie into the dark basement, where two chairs sit in the middle of the room. Neil calls out to a large gap in the wall, and despite the girl's skepticism, a woman figure wearing a bag over her head emerges. Baghead ignores Neil and approaches Iris, but surprisingly stops and sits in a chair when Iris commands her to. Neil sits opposite Baghead, straps her in, and gives Baghead his late wife Sarah's ring, which Baghead shoves it into her mouth. Baghead screams, her hands transform, and when Neil removes the bag, she has taken the form of his mother, who died 20 years ago. Confused, Neil asks why she committed suicide, but receives vague answers. After 2 minutes, her eyes turn black. Baghead takes control of the spirit and coldly tells Neil that she hated him and never wanted children, and adds that she wants to give him a kiss. Suddenly, the entity vanishes and reappears, pinning Neil down and vomits water into his mouth. Iris steps in, places the bag back over her head, and commands Baghead to stop. Baghead obeys, spits out the ring, and retreats into the wall gap. After leaving the basement, Neil realizes his mother appeared because the ring originally belonged to her. He admits he forgot to mention a crucial rule. Conversation with a dead person can never exceed 2 minutes, or Baghead takes control of the spirit and becomes aggressive. Despite the violent encounter, Neil is still desperate to speak with Sarah and say a proper goodbye. Iris initially refuses, but Neil gives Iris the money anyway, hands her his address, and asks her to contact him if she changes her mind. After Neil leaves, Iris and Katie watch the videotape left by Owen. Owen explains that Baghead only obeys the guardian whose name is on the house papers. He says she can bring back the dead, but talking to them must last only 2 minutes. If anyone goes over 2 minutes, Baghead will mess with their mind and become dangerous. Owen warns that the more they use Baghead, the stronger she gets, so it's best not to use her at all. He cautions that if they keep using her, she will get inside their heads and control them to stay, so she can finally escape from the basement. Even if you try to run away, she will draw you right back to the pub, because realizes her ultimate goal is to break free from the basement and escape into the world. Learning all of this, Iris realizes her dad only abandoned her years ago to protect her from the monster. A terrified Katie begs her to leave, but Iris refuses since she's homeless. She argues that Neil is rich and willing to pay whatever to talk to Sarah one last time, which could buy them a fresh start. Though Katie hates the idea, she reluctantly agrees to stay and help her friend. Later, Iris and Katie go down to the basement. Iris announces to Baghead that she is the new owner and paints "Do Not Cross" on the stairs to stop the entity from leaving. In the morning, Iris goes to meet Neil, while Katie stays behind and blocks the basement door with a wine barrel. As Katie tries to leave, a picture frame falls. It shows two men from 1972, Otto, the owner before Owen, and the lawyer who just handed Iris the ownership paper. Searching online, Katie learns Otto killed himself after a family tragedy. Suddenly, she sees Otto's ghost in the pub, but he vanishes instantly. Meanwhile, Neil tells Iris how much he loved Sarah, who died in a car accident. Devastated, he joined a grief support group where he heard about Owen, who charged €2,000 to connect people with the dead. In the evening, Neil, Katie, and Iris head back to the basement. Neil hands Baghead one of Sarah's belongings, and Iris sets a 2-minute timer. Baghead turns into Sarah, whose last memory is the moments right before her car crash. It quickly turns out Neil didn't come just to say goodbye. He accuses her of cheating and demands to know who she was seeing, but Sarah denies it. When the 2-minute timer goes off, Baghead takes control of the spirit, meanly claims there was no other man. Sarah just couldn't stand being with him anymore. The basement suddenly shifts into the creepy scene of Sarah's crash. Iris approaches a crying Sarah in the corner, but the spirit transforms into a monster, pins Iris to the floor, and taunts that Iris is now a prisoner of the pub before retreating into the hole. Once things calm down, Neil insists on speaking to Sarah again, claiming he just wants closure and refuses to believe what Baghead said after the timer ran out. Exhausted and fed up, Iris and Katie force him to leave. Later, while drinking alone, Iris sees a vision of her late father. She witnesses a memory of Owen using Baghead to talk to his dead wife, apologizing for abandoning her and Iris. He reveals he was trapped at the pub for 20 years, and every time he tried to visit Iris, bad luck and death followed. He finally decided to burn the pub down to protect Iris from the same misery. However, when the 2 minutes passed, Baghead took over his wife's spirit and burned Owen alive instead. At midnight, Iris hears strange noises and notices Katie is missing from her bed. She goes down to the basement and finds her father, who tries to trick her into entering the hole in the wall. Iris refuses when she sees his face turn creepy. Suddenly, her dad pulls off his skin, revealing Baghead underneath. Iris tries to choke the monster, but it backfires. Baghead transforms into Iris herself. Iris suddenly wakes up in her bed, choking on a rope tied tightly around her neck. Hearing her screams, Katie runs in and cuts the rope, saving Iris just in time. Later, the girls try to contact the lawyer to get Iris's name off the ownership paper, but he has completely disappeared. Back at the pub, Katie begs Iris to leave for her own safety. Iris refuses, not wanting to go back to being broke and having nothing. She accuses Katie of just being jealous of her new property, so an upset Katie packs up and leaves. Still worried about her best friend, Katie goes to Otto's abandoned house. There, she finds documents showing how desperately he had tried to break the curse. Meanwhile, Iris goes to the basement and uses Baghead to talk to her dad. Owen's spirit reveals that he wanted the pub burned down, never left her a will, and never wanted her involved. Iris gets angry at him for keeping secrets, but he explains he was trapped and couldn't leave to see her. He begs for her forgiveness and asks her never to summon him again. Iris then puts the bag back over the entity's head to end the session. Frustrated, Iris tries to burn the ownership paper, but the paper won't catch fire. She realizes she is trapped by her own bad choice. Katie returns and looks for Iris, who is lying unconscious in a room. Thinking Iris is in the basement, Katie goes down and runs into Baghead. She drops her things, and Baghead swallows some of Otto's documents, bringing his spirit back to life. Katie asks Otto where Baghead came from. He explains that 400 years ago, a cult called the Brotherhood found a woman who could speak to the dead. When she wouldn't let them use her, they burned her as a witch. She came back from the dead for revenge, killing many until the Brotherhood locked her in an underground tomb. Centuries later, descendants of the Brotherhood reopened the tomb to use her power again. The more she was used, the stronger she grew, killing anyone who tried to control her. As Katie listens, the 2 minutes end, and Baghead takes over Otto's spirit. Just as Katie tries to escape, Baghead captures her. The next morning, Iris wakes up to a phone call from Katie begging for help from the basement. Terrified, Iris rushes downstairs and hears Katie's voice calling from inside the hole in the wall. Ignoring her dad's warnings, she goes in and finds a deep cave where she eventually spots her friend. But as they try to leave, Iris sees the real Katie's dead body. The person beside her is actually Baghead. The monster tries to attack her, but Iris quickly runs and escapes out of the wall opening. Neil suddenly shows up and leads her upstairs to safety. He gives her some pills to help her calm down. Iris takes them, telling Neil that if no one uses Baghead again, the creature will lose all its power. Suddenly, Iris gets dizzy and Neil tells her to lie down and rest. Iris wakes up and realizes that Neil drugged her and immediately rushes to the basement, where she finds Neil making a deal with Baghead. He offers to become the new owner if he can talk to his dead wife forever. He writes his name on the ownership paper, but it disappears because Iris is still alive. Baghead turns into Sarah and reveals she was pregnant when she died. She explains that Neil was so controlling and insecure, so she tried to leave him. He had secretly drugged her to calm her down, which led to her car accident. Overcome with guilt, Neil cries as Sarah tells him they can be together again, but only if Iris dies. Neil refuses to kill Iris, but Sarah blames him for killing her and their unborn child. Neil sees Iris listening and chases her. Iris runs to her room to call the police, but her phone is dead. She escapes to the roof where Neil corners her. She tries to convince him that Baghead is just using him, but he refuses to listen and attacks her. Iris breaks free and tries to climb down, but Neil throws her off the roof, killing her. Neil carries Iris's body to the basement and feeds her phone to Baghead so he can talk to her ghost and get the pub transferred to his name. Iris's spirit appears and Neil apologizes, explaining he just wants to be with his wife. He asks her to hand over ownership, but Iris's spirit just laughs and thanks him for setting her free. She reveals that since Iris's name is on the ownership paper and her soul is now controlled by Baghead, she has become her own owner, meaning she is no longer trapped in the basement. Baghead then brutally attacks Neil. The monster shifts forms, first into his mother to break his hands, then into his wife to slam his head into the ground, and finally into Iris to smash him with a chair, killing him. In the final scene, Baghead burns down the ownership paper along with the pub and steps outside, free to walk into the world, and the movie ends. And that wraps up Baghead. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the bell for more chilling movie stories. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.